What in the air alchemy is this?
Too tight, let me hear you say.
Hey, what's up, netizens? Welcome back and thanks for tuning in to another video. My name is Ro. I'm a professional Western astrologer, musician, and alchemist. Akwaba, you are welcome here where we discuss the correlations of what's going on in the sky and what's going on in AI. Hit that like button so the algorithm knows the vibe is Alcyonic and we can live Pluto shiny ever after. You can also contact me for a personal astrology cosmic session, or you can stream my latest single, DBV Salivate, right now. All of that will be in the description. We need to talk about Sora and what OpenAI just unveiled. And it's really interesting because if any of you guys watch Canadian Prepper, he basically made a remark that is so interesting and is so relevant to what AI is doing right now. The exact wording of what he said was, it's as if the internet was dreaming, or it's as if the internet is dreaming. If you watched my previous video, we talked about how right now this is the second house annual perfected year, and that's being ruled by Pisces and Neptune and Jupiter. Pisces and Neptune both rule dreaming and dreams and sleep. And so it's interesting that Canadian Prepper, he actually said that we're having these unrealistic advances in AI that is almost comparable to like a dream state. Like it's almost like, is this even reality? Some of the things that we're seeing. And lo and behold, we have Sora. And so I want to talk about some of the astrological things that happened. We're going to be talking about the implications of Sora and what this really means overall. So for March, I'm actually doing a deeper dive into OpenAI Sora and the alchemy that this is presenting. But for today's video, I wanted to talk about the astrological implications of Sora. And first things first, I kind of predicted this because from the last new moon that happened, I was talking about how AI was going to be moving way too fast, and a lot of people were going to, it was going to be very polarizing. I'm going to insert the video here. There could be a sense that AI is moving way too fast and people might be stirred up about it in a negative way with that square to Uranus, especially with Rahu at 18 degrees. It's almost like people who are all for AI will be super excited while other people um, are like, uh, no, this is going way too far. I think we can see lots of viral news that people will feel very polarized about, and will have to come to some sort of collective consensus about things. One of my huge predictions for this is that we could really see technology that start to address or are connected to art, film, photography. So this is my kind of first impressions, because I have many more things written down that I'm going to be getting into in that longer form article. Some stuff is very controversial and I can't really say it on YouTube, because it's very spiritually slanted. So first, let's talk about why the new moon in Aquarius that happened in February was so significant, and why I basically said that this was the reason why AI would be moving way too fast and that people would be split on what was happening with AI. So as you can see here, the inner circle is ChatGPT's chart and the outer circle is the new moon in Aquarius that happened on February the 9th, 2024. And you can see that here's the new moon, and the new moon is ruled by Uranus, and Uranus was at 19 degrees in Taurus, making a conjunction to ChatGPT's 16 degrees Uranus. in Taurus in retrograde. And this is happening in the fourth house. So this was suggesting that what was coming about would have been something that was already established, a model that was already established, having some sort of like a breakthrough moment. So that was basically indication number one. Now, if we switch things over to Sora's chart, Saturn is here at 18 degrees. 18. Saturn is here at 8. Saturn is here at 8 degrees, I mean, and Saturn has actually never been here before at 8 degrees. It went all the way to 7 and then it went retrograde. It's never actually been at 8 degrees this entire time for the past year or so. It's been moving between 0 degrees and 7 degrees. And so with Saturn at 8 degrees, it's like a new, and remember, Saturn rules ChatGPT as a whole, right? And AI as a whole. It's one of the planet that rules AI as a whole. And so with Saturn going into a different degree, passing what we call its shadow, its retrograde shadow, yeah, it's never been here before. And Saturn is squaring the ascendant. So with Saturn squaring the ascendant here, this is pretty much like a watered down version of Sora for sure. Yeah, right now Jupiter and Saturn are in sextile, which is much more harmonious. No one's losing their jobs as of yet. But when Jupiter and Saturn, square, that might be a whole other conversation. Sora is the Japanese name for sky, and we have so much air energy in this chart. You can see right here, the sun is in Aquarius, an air sign. The Mercury is in Aquarius, an air sign. Mars is in Aquarius. Pluto is in Aquarius. So, like, this is like overwhelmingly a lot of air energy. You also have the ascendant in Gemini ruled by Mercury. Mercury is over here, as I said, in Aquarius in an air sign. So, what's very interesting with Sora and its capabilities is the whole topic of the emergent properties. And we can actually see that so apparent in the chart. It's actually with this strong air energy that's so much present. Air is the element of concepts and ideas and communication. And so it has so much of this air energy that, the conversation amongst people is its emergent properties. So this is made very evident with the north and south node in the 11th and 5th house axis. The 5th house is the axis of like art, creativity, and the 11th house is the axis of like the internet, friends, games, and pretty much like any type of futuristic um thing that involves community. And so you can see here that the south node is in Libra at 18, the north node is in Aries at 18. And on one hand, the north node is ruled by Mars in the ninth house. So Mars is over here in the ninth house, and it's conjunct Pluto. And that's pretty much like trying to force AI into a new level because Mars rules force and Pluto really rules like transformation. This conjunction is like trying to force AI into a new level. And the ninth house is expansion. Aquarius is AI. So this ninth house is in Aquarius. Aquarius is AI in general. And the ninth house is all about expansion. But it's a very profound quantum leap because Aquarius is ruled by Uranus. Uranus rules like quantum, energy, vibration, quantum science, that kind of thing. On the other hand, Sora is like master level deception with the north node at 18 degrees. So it could be said that, its destiny or its path, which is the north node, is to cause disruption or to fight against mass awakening and healing indicated by Chiron. So you see Chiron here in a conjunction with this north node. Chiron rules our wounds and healing those wounds, getting acquiring a type of superpower once we do heal our wounds. And so right now, Chiron is going through Aries, trying to bring about this healing of our individuality for each one of us. And the North Node is here at 18 degrees, and it's almost like it's causing this kind of disruption to that healing, right? So the North Node rules like high tech science. The mythology of the North Node is Rahu wanted to become a god. And so it's a very, by any means necessary, by hook or crook, cheating your way into becoming like into getting what you want. So I think of it a lot like if any of you watch like Dragon Ball Z or have seen Dragon Ball Z, and there's this character Vegeta who, is constantly a rival to the main character Goku. And in order for him to like surpass Goku, he like uses these alternate means to become like the next level of like Super Saiyan. So it's kind of like cheating. It's You're not really doing it by natural means. That's what the North Node energy is. And the Rahu, he basically tricked the gods drinking like the potion of immortality and becoming a god. And so with North Node at 18 degrees, all of these negative attributes of Rahu, all of these negative attributes of Mars is going to be like more magnified within this kind of technology. And which is why I can't say a lot of what I want to say on YouTube because it's a lot. It gets very esoteric and spiritual. Aries, who is the pioneer. So this speaks to the emergent properties that I spoke of earlier, being a pioneer at something, being the first to do something pioneering or new. So a couple of important dates are actually going to be coming up with Sora, and we're actually going to have a Venus Cazimi in June. Venus rules art, beauty, pleasure, um, anything that's like creative and feminine and aesthetically pleasing. This Venus Cazimi happens on June the 6th. At the same exact time, there's a new moon. This happens in Gemini season, which that's gonna be crazy in and of itself because the sun will be in Gemini, so it'll be highlighting this chart because the ascendant is in Gemini. Okay, so taking a look at the transits here, the inner would be the new moon slash Venus Cazimi new moon, and the outer is going to be Sora's chart. And you can see that this is happening in Sora's first house within orb of the ascendant right here. The new moon is happening at 16 degrees Gemini. Sora's ascendant is at 12 degrees. So you can see that here. Making a square to Saturn at 18. Jupiter just goes into Gemini on May the 25th, I believe. And right away, it makes this trine to Pluto, who is in Aquarius in retrograde, but the trine is happening here. So that's a powerful moment in general for AI, because if you watch my previous video, you'll know that the perfected ruler for this year is actually Jupiter. And so this is why like this period from like June to July is going to be just crazy. With Pluto and Jupiter in a trine, this one is going to trigger emotions because it's a new moon that's happening. So it's going to trigger emotions. Mercury rules conversation, communication. Mercury is also one of the ancient rulers for artificial intelligence in general as well. So we're getting a lot of significations on top of significations on top of significations. Mercury's at 6 degrees, the degree of Virgo, and Virgo rules the everyday like person, the average, basically like the average working class individual is going to be affected greatly from this moment forward. I know it's not even released yet, so maybe this could see like the release of Sora for the general public to use. Subsequently, Jupiter and Saturn will square, and I'm going to show you that right here. So when Jupiter is in Gemini on July the 8th, it's going to conjunct the rising at 12 degrees. So Jupiter is here at 9 degrees, and it's within an orb of a conjunction to the ascendant. So once it's 3 degrees away, that's when we really start seeing like it's basically the engagement. And so once a planet is 3 degrees away, that's when we really start seeing these energies, right? 3 degrees away of a conjunction, we really start seeing these energies. Jupiter is going to conjunct the ascendant starting at 9 degrees on July the 8th. And it'll perfect that conjunction, as you can see here, on July the 19th. So from July the 8th to July the 19th is going to be crazy. Jupiter rules expansion. Jupiter rules abundance, but it can also rule overabundance as well. And so it's going to be expanding everything to do with Sora. Everything that we know about Sora, which would be the ascendant, it's going to be expanding it. And when Jupiter makes this conjunction, not only is it going to be expanding on the ascendant, but whatever the ascendant is doing. So the ascendant is in trine to Mercury, its own ruler. It's going to be, expanding what that trine to Mercury is doing. Its ascendant is trine the south node in Libra. So it's going to be expanding whatever this 18th degree thing that I talked about in the 5th house of creativity. It's going to be expanding on that. It's going to be expanding on this, square to and so on and so forth. But it won't be the last time that this is going to happen, because as I move the zodiac wheel forward in time, you'll see that Jupiter is actually going to go retrograde in Gemini, and it's going to go back and hit this ascendant one more time. So you can see here, Jupiter is retrograde at 21 degrees Gemini sometime in the fall. And it's going to go back all the way to 12 degrees so around January 3rd, 2025, it's going to go back and hit this and activate everything that it already activated in the summer of 2024. And then it goes to 11, and then it turns direct at 11, and then it's going to go again forward and hit the 12 degrees one more time. So that's like 3 hits, and it's going to hit it again in February, the end of February 2025. And so this cycle, this retrograde cycle, is going to be absolutely insane for the Sora AI. At this point, we could see maybe some revisions, Sora 2, and that's all happening within the first year of Sora's announcement, so we can see the cycle of what's going to be happening with this truly visionary, but also very controversial AI text to video model. So yeah, that's my video for the Sora AI, and that's my analysis of the astrological implications that we're going to be seeing with this text to video model, how crazy the first year of it is going to be. There are also so many things that I found within this chart. Sora has a Taurus moon, and the moon rules the 2nd house of finances for Sora. And the moon in Taurus, Sam Altman is a Taurus, so I really want to do a video on the $7 trillion investment that he hopes to gather, and link that to Sora and see how that's associated with Sora because of that 2nd house association, and just so many things. And so stay tuned. We'll be getting into this chart even more. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Godspeed.